Motivational Mondays is the perfect way to set the tone for your week. Everyone can use motivation. Mondays are amazing, rich with opportunities, full of potential, and now motivational. Your week begins here.
Good Monday morning. My name is Genevieve Jones-Wright, and I am the founder and lead empower mentor of Motivation.In.Action, or MIA. And I am so happy to be joined today by Brandon Steppe. How are you this morning?
It is an honor to sit with you in this very formal space.
Your formal space, along with the communities.
That's
we are
right.
here. Our set is now at the Harp Foundation.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. And it's
Absolutely.
amazing and beautiful.
No, thank you for trusting the young people to be able to tell your stories. So we appreciate Mia for being here, and our space is your space.
So this is where we could kind of go back and forth, because it's like, I want to thank you for pouring into the young people and doing what you do every single day at David's Heart that makes this a reality, right? So as we're looking around the room, we're seeing that our students and alum of the David's Harp Foundation are operating the cameras and producing this very episode.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the culmination of these young people stepping out and deciding that they were going to found programs here, and us living equitably in community, loving each other, and really just pouring into young people as they decide they want to make a difference. So you get to see the product of it, and the product is amazing production. So shout out to Warehouse Media and everything that's coming out underneath that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you are the product of a wonderful, giving family. You lead a life of service, and I think a lot of that is because of what you saw modeled before you. So I want to kind of get into your background story.
Sure. Absolutely. So I started actually in Southeast San Diego. Grew up in Emerald Hills at a time that was very difficult as far as gang violence in our community. But at the same time, I got a chance to see elders in the community that were pouring into not only me, but the people, but people of all ages around the community. And so it was a time where you get to see like tale of two cities almost. But what emerged from that time was, I think, a group of young people that are community minded in our generation, and that saw their elders really take that path of change and decided to take on those mantles and continue to press forward in the community. So yeah, it's really an honor, right, to continue that process in our community and to see it thrive and to grow.
Absolutely. So, I would be remiss if I didn't allow for you the opportunity to talk about being a step, because every time someone hears your name, they go, wait. They got to take a double take and go, oh, wait, which step are you?
Right. So the other half of that origin story is my family, right? I have actually 4 generations here in San Diego now. My Aunt Rebecca was actually the founder of the Women's Civic League here locally in the 20s. My grandfather came around a little later around that time and was the head of social services and worked in many different organizations in the community. And then my father, a firefighter in the community, who was one of the ones responsible for helping some of the first women of color get onto the fire department. My mother, Little League president. I mean, just there's a whole bunch of people that came before me that it's an honor to walk in their shoes. And at the same time, this is an expression of faith for me. And there's an internal driving source that goes beyond that tradition. It's just an interesting time to be able to kind of still hold hands with the youth and also being respected by the elders. It's an interesting moment.
So let's talk about hand-holding with the youth.
Sure.
Let's talk about what gets done here in this building, outside of this building, because of your heart.
I think I want to rephrase the question a little bit, because with the youth, it's not really hand-holding as much as it's linking arms. And
I love that.
Yeah, it really is. It's linking arms and it's walking together. So young people in this community are talented, they're passionate, they have things that they want to accomplish, dreams that they have, and they have ideas that are worth investing in. Like, it's not just a program for program's sake where you bring young people in and we program you and then we show the results and the impact. Really what it is here is it's deciding and choosing as adults that we will walk equitably with young people, to love them, to listen and to empower their ideas in a way that allows the whole community to benefit from it. It's been an interesting walk through this nonprofit space, living in real community, because there's times when that's not necessarily understood or it's not a norm. And so we're having to really stand in the community that's been built here in a way that's authentic, that when there's times that aren't authentic in it, like it from a nonprofit's perspective, we have to still stand in the truth of the community that we serve. So it's been fun. It's been an interesting walk, and I think that there's best practices that have emerged out of it that can help to transform other communities.
Well, there's a part of your story and David Harp's story that I think would benefit the listeners and the viewers today, because now David Harp is situated right in the heart of East Village,
Right.
in a very prominent historic building. But that's not where David Harp actually started. So can you talk a little bit about the origin story of the David Harp Foundation?
Absolutely. So we were actually born in a garage, like most things that take over the world. I don't know. We were born in a garage in Emerald Hills, and I left a corporate job. I stepped out on faith to really leave comfort and to start something that was a passion of mine, not knowing that music and mixing music and audio engineering was a passion of the youth in the community. And so the first young people that came through the door, I allowed them to come into that space with the deal that they could trade their good grades for studio time. And we still have that spirit of trading good grades and behaviors for recording studio time, but it's just grown so much bigger than that. That recording studio, though, was really the start of a conversation. For me, as an adult, it was the moment to say, I think I have something that I want to say to a young person. Like, I have this thing that I've learned, that I've walked through, that I believe is valuable. But the question was, how can that be presented and be received? I think a lot of times as mentors, you as a lead mentor, we have the thought that we need to put on a perfect face and portray something that is perfect for people to look up to. But our lived experience in this community is actually contrary to that. What I found in that garage is that when I took my mask off and was honest with the young people around me about not only the things that I had lived through that were positive, but also the negative aspects of things I was currently experiencing, that's when I earned the right to have a voice in a young person's life. What we learned in that garage was that human interaction and just honesty, integrity, and transparency are the bedrock of a mentoring relationship if you're going to have a real one.
Ooh, you have said a lot.
I know. I'm sorry. I tried to dial it back.
No. This is really good because people need to hear that. A lot of times, people think that they're supposed to just come in and like young people are supposed to just listen to them because they have status supposedly or a position or a title. But you talked about earning the right to have a voice, and that is powerful. You talked about consistency. You talked about transparency.
Yes.
You give this image about a flashlight, and I really want to make sure that we talk about that because that is a powerful piece to the David Harp Foundation as well.
Absolutely. So we have what's called the Pedagogy of Relationship here, and it's built on lived experience and 8 pillars now and growing, really of community. And one of those, the first one of those, is called Flashlight First. And in that pillar, Flashlight First, we have the image of a flashlight. Every adult in our community we know has this flashlight, and what we tend to do is to shine it on youth and to tell them how they need to change, what they need to do, the things they need to say in order for them to achieve success. But what we found is that if you take that flashlight and you hold it above your own head, you allow them to see both the positives and negatives of what you're walking through and have walked through. If they're willing, they'll walk in that light with you. And that's where that conversation can start and that mutual respect is built. It's based on letting somebody know who you are, really in an authentic way, so that they know that the information that you're going to give them is trustworthy.
I love that.
I'm glad you love it.
I love that, and I love that you live that, right? So there's one other part of this that I want to make sure that we talk about, and it's beats behind the wall and beats beyond the wall, because the work that the David Harp Foundation does in transforming the lives of youth and really changing the trajectory of the lives of youth happens outside of this building. It's through those authentic relationships. But can we talk about, especially during Second Chance Month, which April is, what happens when we go inside of our jails where young people are being housed?
It's hard to say that some of these youth need a second chance because they haven't really gotten a first chance in a lot of cases. But I will say that when we go down and we take mobile studio backpacks inside East Mesa Juvenile Detention Facility or Kearney Mesa Juvenile Detention Facility, we're bringing music, and kids love music. It's the perfect platform to start a conversation. Artist mentors are creating music with young people. They're also building these relationships. And so young people are serving 360 to 540 days in some of our programming. And that gives us an amount of time to be able to develop that relationship that we can help them transition back into community with support. And so a lot of times systems will do handoffs. All right, good to see you. It was good, glad you, whatever, and on to the next. We don't have that. We literally link arms and we walk through the mud together. So we met in spaces of incarceration, but that's not where our final destination is, right? Our goal is not to just create art, amazing art in these spaces, but to earn a relationship and help a young person come back into community with this new relationship and skills to do something different. And so beats behind the wall, we're making beats, we're having fun, but we're learning audio engineering. We're learning video production elements and storytelling. And then when young people transition out, we're there to meet them. And they're able to then take those skills and make really livable wage money, applying those skills directly in the community. Yeah, it's a fun thing that we call the pipeline to productivity. You know, there's a pipeline to prison. We've heard all about this pipeline to prison, but there is a return pipeline that everybody needs to know about, and that is this pipeline to productivity. It's not just workforce productivity, but it's about genuine connection and relationship and a pipeline to positive adult interaction. And we know that one adult interaction, positive one adult relationship can actually change the entire trajectory of a young person's life.
Well, that's powerful, and I have nothing to offer because I don't want to dilute anything about what you said. And I actually...
Jen doesn't have anything to say?
No, this has been just awesome and amazing. And, you know, I always ask my guests to give a takeaway for our viewers.
Okay.
There's been a lot that we've talked about today, and there's so much that you have said. I know there's so much more you can say. But when folks are looking at this particular conversation and they want to jumpstart their week on a positive or inspiring note, what would you offer them?
I think a lot of times when we have a vision and we have a goal, something that we're really trying to accomplish, what we tend to do is we tend to look past things that are right in front of us, and we tend to look past the people, and the really important elements of our vision are always right in front of us. We're not faithful in the little things, but we want to be faithful in bigger things is another way to put it. And at the end of the day, I would encourage you to stop for a second, stop dreaming outwardly so much, and to really look at what's in front of you. Focus on the people that are there. Don't miss the opportunity to start with the people around you and to do those things that you're trying to do immediately in front of you. There's a lot less barrier to entry than you think if you just start with what's immediately in front of you. That's how this started. It started in a garage with what was immediately in front of us. And we're always now not focused on who's not here, but who is here. And so I think that would be one thing that I would give to your audience. And I hope that they would really take heed, because at the end of the day, I believe that that's how things change, incrementally and with intention, with those that are just immediately in front of us.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this conversation and how many jewels you have dropped.
Okay.
You know? So
Jen, you enjoyed our conversation. We are really brother and sister, so we argue all the time.
All the time.
But you know what? I appreciate that you're taking this platform and that you're expanding it out for people to see. I appreciate your service as a founding board member of the David's Harp Foundation and all that you do in the community, and the fact that you're up every day shining your light. So
here he goes, y'all. See, doing too much. I didn't want to talk about all that. What I do want to leave you with is that David's Harp Foundation is an amazing, amazing, amazing organism. I don't even want to call it an organization. And I really do hope that you have gleaned something from this conversation. And as a matter of fact, I know that you have, because I've been reinvigorated by just having this conversation with Brandon. And I have absolutely enjoyed this conversation. And so I hope that you all have. And just to say it again, so you hear it at the tail end of this Motivational Mondays, as Brandon said, be present in the moment. Focus on the people who are right there with you. I can tell you that oftentimes we look beyond the people who are closest to us, beyond our families, and we think we need to go outside of even our households to make change. And that's probably where we need to love a little bit more. So hopefully your week is jump-started with that piece of motivation and the inspiring story of Brandon Steppe and the David Harp Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you
so very much.
Absolutely, it's an honor.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Motivational Mondays. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, right here, with more inspiration to help you jumpstart your week. Now, if you found this week's conversation inspirational or motivational in any way, maybe you got a gem to carry with you throughout the day or the week, please feel free to like, comment, and share. Because remember, everyone can use some motivation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.